So good morning, everybody. It's good to see all of you. Again, I hope that your Yom Kippur was meaningful, fulfilling, lofty, as it were. I was so blessed to spend Yom Kippur, where I spent Rosh Hashanah with my friends, my rabbis, Jesse Olitsky and Rachel Martyr, and an incredible community, Bethel in South Orange, New Jersey. It was an extraordinary, extraordinary holiday, which I can sum up with a few different images. And I wanted to set the tone for our learning today with all of these. And I'll ask you, if you'd like, share in the comments a memory, an experience that you had on Yom Kippur, a positive one that you are going to hold on to, a positive one that is going to fuel you and your work moving forward. You might hear that I'm a little bit hoarse. I left it all on the table, just poured it all out until this is one of those moments I want to share. When Ne'ilah came, the final prayer of Yom Kippur, I just didn't want it to end. I was serving as cantor for the community, and you know it's the right kind of Yom Kippur when Ne'ilah is happening, and you don't want it to end. We were scheduled to end at a 7-Eleven, which was exactly the end of Yom Kippur, and and we ended at 7:45, and I'm telling you, I could have kept going, and I felt the community could have kept going. The singing was so good. The davening was so good. People were walking up to the Aron, to the Ark, offering personal prayers throughout Ne'ilah, and they were online throughout the sanctuary. There were hundreds of voices in harmony, friends. And wherever you were, I hope that you heard other voices. I hope that you felt camaraderie and spirit and maybe even God's holy presence with you. The final moment that the ark was open during Ne'ilah, I was serving as cantor and everyone was lined up. I was blessed that my three children walked straight to the ark. Talis is over their heads. And so I walked over to them just as I was finishing my recitation of the repetition of the Amidah, and I just held them as I ended that final blessing. And I prayed, Baruch Atah Hashem, blessed are you, God, Oseh HaShalom, who makes peace. And I was holding my most precious things in the world, asking God, demanding of God, battering open the gates of heaven that they should never close, to my children, to all of you, to our future, to our neighbors, to our world. That was one powerful memory that will never, ever leave me. And yes, as Joyce said, to be in person and to hear the powerful voice of the Kahal. Yes, I was serving as a cantor, but what a powerful blessing it was to be told by someone in the congregation, thank you for leading. You're leading the way someone should lead tefillot, which is that it's not about you, and you made clear that it wasn't about you. Friends, I was so proud to stand in front, I really was. But more than anything else, I was struggling to hold back my tears at just hearing harmonies, hearing the gorgeousness of other voices, raw, and as Pete Seeger said, rascally voices, to stand with my children at the Aron, begging God, demanding of God the right kind of year. And to use that as a segue, sharing both what is a memory and also marching orders, nothing less. I'm so blessed to be reading your comments. Please keep sharing your Yom Kippur experiences. Share them with all of us so that we can feel it, so that, as Sandy wrote, the waves go in, the waves go out, a constant in our lives. Friends, keep the flow. Lewis sharing that it was the best music ever at Temple Israel in Memphis. Thank God. Thank God. Thank God for what we were able to share. There's a point on Yom Kippur in the Musaf service called Ayla Eskara. It's a very, very difficult section. In the Machzor, the High Holidays prayer book, Ayla Eskara deals with tragedies that have befallen the Jewish people, centering often on the death of 10 martyrs, Jews during the Roman occupation. In many Machzors, in many of our High Holiday prayer books, there have been expanded versions to include the historic disasters that have befallen our people, be they the Inquisition, the Shoah, the Chmielnicki massacre, war itself. In one of the machzors I use, there's a poem by Yehuda Amichai about going to war, but imagining that he would have been fighting his grandfather, who fought for the German army. Yehuda Amichai fighting for Israel. There are enormous, enormous moments of meaning. For me, when Rabbi Olitsky and Rabbi Martyr recite Ayla Eskara in their shul, they recite tragedies that befall people, not just the Jewish people, and they told stories of gun violence from around the United States, in between which we sang the refrain for Ayla Eskara, and the three of us were openly weeping. Ayla Eskara. And with the sadness, and speaking personally, the rage in response to the needless bloodshed, which if you've been paying attention to the news, unfortunately, in Thailand, there was a terrible massacre at a day school, a childcare center of 30 people, including 2-year-olds, just yesterday. Right after Ayla Eskara, there's the prayer in the Machzor, Ki Anu Amecha, which many of you, if you sing the songs, you know it's joyful. It's you pound the table, you sing, you clap, because the words are for we are your nation and you are our God. We are your children. You are our parent. Speaking to God. One of my favorite lines is Anu Rayatecha. We are your beloveds, which is the name of my daughter. Vata Dodenu, and you are our beloved too. But I found myself right after Ayla Eskara singing those words and shouting them, screaming at heaven. We are your children. Show up, our parent. We are your nations. Where are you, Holy One? Our children are calling for you. We're all calling for you. Yom Kippur had both enormous uplift but also incredible grounding. The fragility of the world. We sing right before Ayla Eskara of the high priest service, where his life is on the line. If he gets it wrong, he's in trouble, and so are we. And the very end of it is, may these prayers protect our world. This is a day, friends. This day, not yesterday. This day, and Penny, I got you. Broadcast 646. Without you, I would have lost count. This is the day where we channel everything that we experienced, including the most gorgeous moment I will experience, I think, for a very long time, given where we have been. The whole community singing Ne'ilah, the end of Yom Kippur, and we're about to do Havdalah, and the back door is open, and a parade of children come in. A parade of children. And all I could say, friends, all I could say, and I said it in my head, in my heart, every word of prayer was full of this expression to God, with whom I can't stay angry, because my children are here, and you and I are here, and we get to do good work this year. My prayer, my realization, the depth of it was, God, your children came home. Your children have come home, God. You are so lucky. And friends, by children, I don't mean the youngest kids. I mean you and me. We came home this year. We sang together this year. Yes, some of us are really trying to figure out how to do that, psychologically feeling safe, medically feeling safe, communally reorganizing. We're going to continue this imaginative work so that we can all feel secure and supported and comfortable, somehow, finding each other again. But this year, friends, our children came home. You and I came home, and we sang together. Some of us streamed in, and I hope that you felt the majesty of our sanctuaries. We say every day, twice in our prayers, Ashrei Yoshvei Veitecha, Od Yehallelu Chasela, happy are those who dwell in your house, God. And over these high holidays, starting with the beginning of Elul, the month before Rosh Hashanah, and coming soon, right, until Hoshana Rabbah, we sing, Achat Sha'alti Me'im Adonai, Me'it Adonai. One thing I'm asking from God, Ota Avakesh, that is what I'm asking for. Shivti B'veit Adonai, Kol Yemei Chayai. I just want to sit in God's home all the days of my life. I've never meant it more. The gift of gathering as a community, in prayer, in sadness and in joy, in intensity and calm. The break the fast that was at shul included breakfast cereals and a waffle maker. And I gotta tell you, who needs anything else? Linda, you said you were singing off key. You weren't singing off key. You were singing with God's voice. And anyone who was streaming in, you were somehow transported into the community. I felt, because there were cameras there and people there, we were all finally together, please God, more and more with more strength. I want to bless you to take this moment into the next. Because for some reason, every year it sneaks up on us. Straight from Yom Kippur, we go into Sukkot. From Yom Kippur into Sukkot. It's just 4 days. Sukkot is coming so soon. And what might that mean for us? We ask God, Ufros aleinu sukkat shlomecha, spread over us a sukkah of peace. Isn't that everything we want, friends? A simple, safe place for our children to dance. A simple place, as Ayala is sharing. You cleared out the chairs and children came in and danced and twirled to the beautiful music. That is more powerful than any page of the Machzor. The pure hearts of our dancing children. And friends, again, by dancing children, I mean you. I mean us. And of course, I mean our kids. I want to bless us today to feel the power of yesterday and to do something with it. To take the depths that we reached and the highs where we soared and to own them. To let our hearts grow and open again so that we can feel it all and respond with passion, strength, and presence to the world. This world is not going to be less fragile moving forward. If you remember, just before Yom Kippur, I told you the story of the guy from whom I bought coffee. Well, this morning, I stopped by again. Next time, I'm going to ask him his name if there isn't a long line behind me, and tell him that I think of him and that I bless him. I hope one day that'll be so common that it won't sound like a strange story, because we learned on Yom Kippur, again, what love feels like, what forgiveness, what hope feel like. So friends, from my heart to yours, hope, and pray, and act, because our children deserve a world where they could dance anywhere, all the time, just for the fun of it. And by children, I mean, meet me at 59th and Lex one time. Let's do a little dancing on the corner, see what happens to the world then. Let's sing our way into a good day, friends. Ya la 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 la, diddy ya la la la, diddy ya la 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 la, ay ay la la la. Bless you all. See you tomorrow morning. Take care.